Alright YouTube, we in here for another one. So some people are reaching out, asking me if I'm going to go through the blog, the matchmaking blog from Call of Duty, cover everything that I didn't cover in my original video and break it all down. And like, look man, I don't know what you want me to say. There's really, like, I covered most of the important shit in my original video. There's really not much else there, man. I combed through the blog. And honestly, like, there's maybe two things that I saw where I'm like, yeah, okay, they could be telling the truth on that. Like, it's just, it's all bullshit, dude. It's all smoke and mirrors. It is PR, damage control, bullshit. You know what I find is funny, though? They dropped that just out of nowhere. We've been asking for, what, a couple of months at that point. Where is this matchmaking talk? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, when I've had an exceptionally long day, I did not want to make that video the other day. I was tired as hell. But anyway, they drop it at the worst possible time. They just random out of nowhere, they dropped their little blog about the matchmaking that we've been asking for months, for years actually, going back to 2019. They dropped this blog the day before they start hyping the Walking Dead bundles that are coming to Call of Duty Modern Warfare Deuce and Half. It's kind of funny how that works though, doesn't it? And now they're pimping out season 2 and everything is Michonne and Rick from The Walking Dead and they're showing off their little guns and their executions and all. Like, dude, it's just PR, man. And it's damage control because they're bleeding players. And now this gets people, because they finally talked about the boogeyman, right? They wouldn't talk about this shit for years, even though the community has been begging for them to talk about it. They finally open up about it, spit a whole bunch of bullshit. Basically, none of it is true. If you actually play the game, then you know this. But they spit their little bullshit at the community. And what does that do? That gets everybody talking about the game. They finally spoke about it. It gets everybody talking about Call of Duty. And what did they do the very next day? Oh, here's our Walking Dead bundles coming to Modern Warfare Deuce and Half in a full price game, right? Like, I feel like I got to keep reminding people that, because we're talking about bundles here that cost almost half the price of the game. This is a full price game that's selling you operator skins for a first-person shooter. You don't even see it. The people that you're playing with see it. They sell you these skins in a first-person shooter, and these beta males, they eat that shit up, man. They love it. Like, they think this shit is content, man. Oh yeah, here, let me buy this game for full price, and then we're gonna buy this useless item over here for almost half the cost of what I paid for the game. And all these beta males out here, man, they got no issues asking mommy and daddy for their credit card so they can buy this shit. They eat this up. They love this shit, bro. They get off on this shit. They love running around in a war game as a fucking rubber duck. Look up the definition of beta male in the dictionary, and all you're gonna see is a picture of all these feminine little COD nerds. That's all you're gonna see. You're just gonna see a picture of them. Beta male, you're gonna see a picture of these nerds. But I think this is the perfect opportunity to pay attention. Pay attention to the people that are using this blog, because I'm using the air quotes right now, it's officially confirmed by Activision and all of this shit is debunked. Pay attention to the people that are using this to clap back at the community. Oh, y'all are conspiracy theorists. Y'all are stupid. Whatever it is, man. Pay attention to the people that are doing that. They jump on that wagon the first chance they got. They knew they were going to do that even before the blog came out. Pay attention to these clowns. I gotta say something to these people real quick. If you read that matchmaking blog, heard everything Activision Call of Duty had to say, and you still play this game, or you have played this game at some point since 2019, if you read everything they got in there and you think that is all truth, you're out here soldiering for that shit like it's from the hand of God. The hand of God wrote these words. You're a fucking idiot, dude. You're dumb. You clearly have an agenda. And you just showed me everything I need to know about you. Clapping at the community with the quickness, man. As soon as this blog dropped, with the quickness, I know you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention any names in this video. If you would like to talk to me about it, my socials are everywhere in the description. You know where to find me. Hit me up and I'll let you know how dumb you are. You goofy shill bitch. We even have an ex-dev over 20 years. I'm not looking at the screenshot right now. I think his name is Brian Bright. Ex-Call of Duty dev, and even he says this is bullshit. He replied to Modern Warzone's whack post about skill-based matchmaking being in Call of Duty since COD 4. He calls bullshit on that. I've been saying this shit for years, man. Look, I've been on both sides of the fence. I was a noob in COD 4. I was not protected like the noobs are today. And I was a strong player, dropping nukes in Modern Warfare 2. I think we can all agree, none of us are dropping those nukes that we did back in the day. None of us would have the great memories and fell in love with Call of Duty like we did if it had this type of matchmaking. None of us are getting those streaks in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 if it had this type of matchmaking. None of that shit's happening. I would not be here today. I would have not fallen in love with this franchise if it had the matchmaking back then that it does now. Skill-based matchmaking was not a factor, period, in the matchmaking in COD 4. And you could even jump on COD 4 now with barely anybody playing it, and you'll still find a lobby quicker than you will in the newest Call of Duty with crossplay, right? But connection is the priority, right? No, it's skill, it's performance. That's priority, because they think their data, they think that player retention for the noobs, that's the most important thing. Get them to stay on the game, because if they get smashed, they're going to get off the game and they're not going to buy bundles. When I was a noob on COD 4, getting absolutely clapped, I just wanted to get better. Back then, there was an incentive to get better. You wanted to get better. You don't want to get better nowadays. If you get better, so does your competition. Your competition just gets steeper to the point that you start seeing cheaters all the time in your lobbies. It just gets sweatier and there's more cheaters. There is no incentive to get better in Call of Duty anymore. Back in COD 4, we had an incentive. World at War, Black Ops 1, MWIII, you wanted to get better back then. If they are so fucking worried about player retention for the noobs, why not just make a good game? Make good maps, balance your weapons out, actually have normal spawns, the whole nine. Make a good fucking game. Look at Elden Ring. How many games did that sell? Elden Ring will give you the gist of what you need to do. They'll be like, hey, look, man, this is how you play the game. Now go out and do it. They don't hold your hand like that, man. And if you can keep your head above water and survive, you will enjoy the game. There is an incentive there for getting better. You want to get better, and you feel accomplished. When you stick to something and you finally figure it out, you feel rewarded for sticking with the game. That game is hard as shit. When I never got into the Souls games at all. Had no interest in them really at all. But Elden Ring, man, once I gave it a chance, I couldn't stop playing it for a bit there. You guys know on my second channel, I was streaming it. I was uploading some videos on it. Like, I couldn't get enough of that game, man. It was a quality game. You wanted to put the time in. If you make a good game, people will want to stay playing it. It's like that old saying, if you build it, they will come. Build the good game. And you don't have to worry about doing cringy ass shit to get noobs to want to stay on your game, man. Noobs don't just leave games like that, man. The gameplay that you guys see on this channel, like I said, I don't flat out reverse boost, but I've started soft reverse boosting, I call it, where I just let weaker players play on my account a little bit. So that when I get on the game, all of a sudden I notice I got an easy lobby or two, or maybe three when I first get on. Or you get owned enough in lobbies back to back to back. You're in the sweaty as hell lobbies back to back. Eventually you'll get like an on the house lobby. You get your shit pushed in enough, you'll get an on the house lobby. And in these gameplays where I'm playing against obviously weaker players, you don't see people leaving. But if you're ever in those super sweaty skill-based matchmaking lobbies where everybody's pride is on the line and you actually, all the stars align, you put it together and you go on a tight little streak and you're clapping the lobby, that's when you see people rage quitting the game. You don't see it with the noobs, man. The noobs expect to get slapped. They don't give a fuck if you're dropping streaks on them. They stay in the game, man. They're happy running around in their little bundles. Like, I don't know. I would love to see this data that tells us that noobs quit the game if they get their shit pushed in. I would love to see that, because I got my shit pushed in COD 4 and all I did was want to get better because I liked the game. It was a good game. I wanted to get better at it. I wanted to put more time. I wanted to invest more time into the game to get better. I wanted to do what I seen my enemies doing to me. And people seem to forget the matchmaking we're talking about here is for pubs, man. Public matches. This unforgiving, disgusting, demonic, satanic matchmaking is for public matches, dude. We're not talking about ranked. We're not talking about competitive. We're not talking about the pro circuit. We're talking about pubs, man. What are we talking about? We're talking about pub. I feel like Allen Iverson right now. We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about pubs, dude. You have no other option to play the game any other way. Just sweat and sweat and sweat until you frustrate it and get off the fucking game. That's it. That's it, unless you do something else to give yourself an easier lobby. We're talking about pubs, man. This matchmaking should be in rank. Like, yes, protect the handicapped people and shit. Protect these people. Keep them away from everybody else. It should be gem pop for all of us who have, you know, functioning hands and everything else. We don't have any disabilities like that. We all should be put in gem pop with the best connection. May the best man win. That's the way it should be. But honestly, there was nothing in that blog, man. I feel more insulted that they actually talked about this because it's all bullshit. It's all nonsense. And it's honestly, I would have been less offended if they just kept ignoring us and didn't say anything, because all this blog did was give the nerds, the shills, more ammunition. But that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you on that next one.